Hello, everybody. Welcome to Tertulia Office Hours. Great to see so many familiar faces. And for you all new people, welcome. This is our opportunity each week to trade notes, troubleshoot, share best practices. And every author is welcome here. Whether or not you are a Tertulia subscriber, in a trial, you tried it and it's not for you yet, or you're a pro user, you're not a pro subscriber, we really want to make this office hours open to everyone. And I'm excited to share we have a great lineup coming up. Next week, April 17th, we will have an author panel of a few authors who are using Tertulia for Authors to sell their books directly, audiobooks and ebooks. Super excited about that, to hear how that's going for them, what their learnings are, and get your feedback on how we can make e-commerce even better on Tertulia. And other upcoming sessions include, should I start a Substack with our own Roberto Escanio, who spent several years at Substack during its boom times? And should I self-publish or should I work with a traditional publisher? That's with an accomplished literary agent, Kate McKean. So we've got some guest speakers, we've got some author panels. Stay tuned, and we'll try to keep some time at the end of each session for discussion as well. We've enabled the ability for Tertulia Pro subscribers to sell special editions, signed copies, and other physical copies of your book, print copies, whether they're hardcover or paperback, from your site. We're really super excited about this. We know this is a game changer for people that have been selling copies from their homes and have used, various solutions online, be it Wix or Shopify or their own custom site, and have sort of struggled with that. Now you can integrate that into your own Tertulia website, along with your sales of audiobooks, ebooks, your blog, and everything else that you do from your site, your email. Clarifying point to start, you do need to be in the Pro Tertulia tier to take advantage of this. It is not incorporating print on demand. It is not incorporating fulfillment. That's handled by you, the author. Okay, I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, here's our familiar friend, Sarah Thorne. Sarah Thorne is a pro tier subscriber of Tertulia. She sells ebooks and audiobooks on her website. She now has some signed copies that she's going to want to sell directly before, maybe it's before her book comes out, maybe it's after her book comes out, maybe it's a special edition with sprayed edges or foil on the cover. I know that's been really, really popular the last few years and is a really great way to keep engaging your super fans with new opportunities, new ways to monetize your author business. So we're going to show you how you can do that. If you are a pro subscriber, you'll see that there's a space for orders, payouts, and shipping. So what you need to know about selling directly is the first thing you need to do is set up your payouts. I have already set these up, but if you haven't yet set them up, you can do so by going to payouts, clicking set up payouts, and it takes you several minutes to set up a Stripe account where you connect your bank. That's the number one thing you need to do to make sure that you're going to get paid for any sales on your site. After you do that, you head over to the book section. Now, this assumes that you've already imported your books and you're selling them through external retailers like Amazon or Tertulia or Barnes & Noble. And now you want to add a print book for sale that you're going to sell directly. If you decide that you want to deactivate other retailers, you have full ability to do that up here in the retailers tab. You have full control over where you link out. But you have the freedom to keep external retailers and sell your book directly here in the Sell Direct tab. So as you can see, I've already set up some products here. I'm going to deactivate one of them and show you how it's done from the beginning. So she's got an ebook for sale, and it's only $1. I don't recommend that you price your books at $1, but I was feeling generous. So we're going to set up a print book, and you hit print book. I ship the book myself. So again, to clarify, when you sell directly these special editions, you do need to set up the fulfillment yourself, which means you ship it out at the post office, FedEx, etc. Now you've got a very familiar setup experience for those of you who have sold ebooks and audiobooks before. You choose the format first, paperback or hardcover. We'll choose paperback. You choose the price. You set the price. And again, you get the full earnings on the sale except for the Stripe transaction fees. And we'll set this for $1 today since I'm going to buy it, but I don't recommend you do that. And we're going to call this special signed copies. And note, there's a box here, mark as sold out. If you find that you're selling your special editions or your signed copies and you run out of inventory, you are responsible for marking this. You're also free to deactivate the product for sale, but you might want to indicate to people that it's sold out. Coming back, you can notify them when you have more inventory available. So you click that and it will show as sold out on your website. We won't do that today. And we'll hit Save Changes. Now, believe it or not, it's that simple. We're going to go over to Visit Site now, and we're going to see that the book is for sale, signed copy. Now I'm going to put that in my shopping cart. Now I'm acting as a user, as a reader, purchaser, one of your fans. And a normal kind of shopping cart experience here. We'll go over to the cart. We'll remove the ebook. We don't want that one anymore. And you'll see that you can invite your book purchaser to sign up for your mailing list, which is important. And then you're going to hit checkout. I have the wrong color button there. Normally it would be a brighter colored button. And then you're going to fill out this checkout experience. Now, note, shipping here is $6. We have a default shipping fee based on sort of a normal trim size book, maybe a hardcover, gives you a little bit of room for, sort of, I would say it's slightly estimated up for what it would cost to ship a book, but you can control your shipping fee in your admin, the admin side of your site builder. So I'll show you that in a minute afterwards. So I'm going to go ahead and check out here and purchase the book. Now what I'm going to show you is what happens when, actually, I'll just go ahead and buy it.
Yeah,
So my purchase is complete. That's it. And then as the author, you can go back in and go over to the e-commerce section and you'll see orders. And it is unfulfilled, which means that you go in, you find the shipping information, and you ship it out. So it really could not be more streamlined here. You can go ahead, copy and paste this into a label. You are responsible for getting it out and shipped. And once it has been shipped, you hit mark as fulfilled. And you can put in your tracking information, put in the carrier, and we'll just put some dummy information in here and hit mark as fulfilled. And it has been marked as fulfilled. And your customer has been notified. It gets a really nice receipt and all of the information back in their email. I see a few questions. Bill asks, this is very nice. Will there be a shipping label in the process eventually? Great question. It is something that we've talked about, and we decided to defer in the service of just getting this out to users who are really hungry to use it. So yes, it is something that we're considering. Charlie asks, can I do pre-orders? Yes. You would have to kind of finagle yourself because you would have to turn off your external retailer links if you don't want people pre-ordering there and you just want them pre-ordering from you. But you can collect all the pre-orders and just not fulfill them. Does that make sense? So you fulfill them at your timeline and you need to just like let your customers know and communicate with them around when they're expected to get it. People have asked about things like discounts, special offers, and bundling. We do not have those yet as well, but they're all on our radar as well.
and I'm looking to possibly do ARCs.
ARCs as well, yep. Yeah, so I think we would probably want a slightly different functionality for people sending out ARCs that would be less sort of e-commerce oriented. So that's something that's also on our product roadmap. Very interested if you guys see a high demand for that and you're not using other tools to do it and you'd like to do that from your Tertulia site. raise your voice because it's something that we would put forward more as a priority.
Just trying to streamline all these different sites that we pay. We're paying for book funnel, we're paying for our, e-commerce, and we're paying, for the website. And it would be nice just to pay for a website.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We are very, very sensitive to that issue. We started with email with Pro as a very important feature in Pro early on because we saw that happening where people were not even, part of it's the cost of having all these different subscriptions, but it's complex to manage. It's complex to have multiple mailing lists and uploading and downloading, and it's a lot on the author. So we hear you loud and clear. Another example of that would be ARC management. Additional reader magnets has been coming up as well. Christine asked, is Stripe the only payment plan? Yes, at this time it is. Rachel asked, do you include taxes in the shipping cost? Excellent question, Rachel. Taxes, you need, just as with your ebooks and your audiobooks, you need to build in your taxes into your price. So you are responsible as the seller of record for taxes. Might that change in the future where we offer a full service business? Yes, that may change in the future. But at this stage, you have to factor in the tax in advance. It is not added on. We have Roxy's asking, when will it be rolled out to the UK? We actually had quite a few questions from people in the UK and Australia over the past few days asking about Pro, particularly e-commerce. We are working on that. So I can't give you a timeline quite yet, but we recognize that the ebook, audiobook, and author fulfilled business would be very attractive for all of y'all outside the US as well. So we are working on it. We'll keep you posted. It's definitely something that is important for us to grow globally as much as to serve our existing audience of the basic subscribers who want to upgrade to Pro. How long to get paid via Stripe? I believe we're on a weekly payout schedule right now, so I can confirm that, Charlie. Christopher asks, what if I had a POD company that could fulfill for me? Are you able to connect our store to them? No, not at this time. That is an option that we are considering. How many copies of your book would you recommend keeping on hand? Great question, Richard. That's a tough one. I think in general, print run questions and how many copies you should order personally is like I think it's a difficult question for authors. And I'd really like to turn that back to the group to see if any of you have suggestions or thoughts about that. I think it's just really depends on your audience, depends if you do events in real life events, and you can use some of the extra inventory that you're not selling at your events to sell from your website. Does anybody have any thoughts on number of copies?
So the rule of thumb is 10 books per live event per day. And then whatever you don't sell at a show, like you said, you usually keep in stock that you can fulfill orders with. And then as far as monthly inventory, I usually have found over the years that carrying 2 books per month, so 24 copies for the year, is a good way to kind of keep something in stock. It helps you with live events if you need some extra books, and then you just order as needed. But I would say at least have a minimum of 2 books on hand every month, just in case. And then obviously, if you're doing live events, the rule is 10 per day. So
That's so helpful. What a great formula. Thank you. Appreciate that, Phil. Anybody else have a thought about number of copies to keep on hand to sell from their sites? I guess it depends also on your timing, how much campaigning you're doing. Very personal decision, I guess.
Linda, for a live event, I also like having business cards with a QR code and the URL to hand out as well, so that if you don't have enough books, you can just hand them the card and they'll go right to the website.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think having those cards with the QR code, we've talked about this in office hours before, how that is worth the cost. It's so cheap to print those things these days and get people back to your site. And now that you're actually able to then say, oh, well, you can come over and buy my book if you run out of them at an event, or if people don't want to carry them at an event, that's a really nice loop to create. Debbie asks, thank you for all these great features. Is there a tutorial on how to figure out taxes so we know how much to add to the price of our book? That's a good idea. Let's do that. Leah, do you mind making a note of that? I won't
Yeah.
remember. That's a great
Sure
idea.
thing.
I think there's a number of tutorials that we plan to build for to expand the information around Pro. But I think it's like infinite, right? And there's a lot of information online about, how to sell directly and which tools to use. And I think we'd really love to consolidate some of that and make a trusted knowledge base for you all. It's just little by little getting there. And just a reminder to everybody, and Angie, if you wouldn't mind throwing the link in the chat, we do have a health center for off hours if you have questions. There are literally hundreds of questions and answers in there. Um, and we do also now have a messenger chat bot in the product. When you are using your site, you'll see a little box that has a speech bubble, and you can click on there and chat with us during specific hours each day as well.
One more thing I wanted to mention about the shipping and the books. When you're packaging your books, it's good to throw in some goodies, be it stickers or something that somebody's not expecting, not anticipating. Also, like what I do is I'll print a 4x6 card that has the cover of my next book and a sample snippet on the back. So that way, when they open the book, they get the book that they ordered, and then they get a little something extra. People love, this has worked for me over the years many times. People love getting goodies inside of something they're not expecting.
Doesn't cost that much more, and you make an impression. So thanks for recommending that. Richard asks, when you factor in the cost of printing the book, shipping, taxes, etc., is it worth it to sell the book yourself? Yeah, that's a good question. So I would say the ethos that at least indie authors come to with selling directly is that they can charge the price that they want and they can keep all of those earnings, which is a better margin for them, even considering all the costs, Richard, than working with a retailer. Or maybe you just want to be wide for the win and do both things. And your super fans buy from you. Maybe they get goodies, they buy bundles, they buy multiple things from you. And newer or less committed readers are sort of having an on-ramp through a retailer they're familiar with. So I've seen that type of model before. But it's certainly not an easy business to be in when you factor in the increased cost of shipping all the time. So I would open this one up to the group too to see what people think about it. SN St. Clair, do you want to share what you think?
Sure. So, for me, for example, I usually buy like let's say 10 books and I think I pay $3 or $4 per copy. All you'd pay is the printing. And then it's like an additional $5 or $6 or so for the shipping. And so if you add that together, let's just say, it's $5 per 10. Well, that's just, a few dollars per book. So you factor that in, and then you could sell your book for an example of $15 per signed copy. You're making a profit off of that, especially since the buyer is going to be paying for the shipping. Even if it's just a small amount of profit, you're still getting that whole price instead of just the few from your royalties on Amazon.
And I would add into what she's saying that when you when you do ship out yourself, you do make a higher profit margin, but you also get your funds quicker because Amazon will hold your money for, up to 60 days, where Tertulia is going to turn that around in a week. So, and it's a better engagement overall. People want to buy. We're in a model right now in the industry outside of books. People want to buy direct to customer because they want to get it right away and they want to get it from the person who created it. So I would say yes, 100%. I recently, about 3 months back, I did a special edition and I sold 100 copies in like 20 minutes off of my Tertulia site. And I was able to turn those profits around through the channel I was using within 24 hours. So yeah, I'm all for DTC. Nothing wrong with Amazon, nothing wrong with Lulu, but author to customer is the most pleasant and best way for you not only to engage but also to profit.
Were those print books or ebooks?
Those were special edition hardcover books with painted edges and all kinds of fun stuff.
Okay.
So,
Yeah,
Great
totally
tip.
agree. I ordered 10 inventory and did a book signing, and I sold each copy for $15 signed, and I made over $100 just at my book signing for 2 hours.
And special editions, painted edges is the thing right now. People are really grabbing those right now. That is a big thing. I even offer inside of my special editions has vellum overlays that goes along with my book, and that just adds a little bit more to it. And every time I take them, people are just grabbing them up first.
Amber, I noticed she said you have to be careful if you're sending something media rate that you don't put swag in there that the USPS will not be happy about. So that's a great tip as well. And Ellen was saying she makes a business card out of each book as a bookmark. It's great and they look nice. Nobody doesn't like a bookmark. I don't know about you guys, but I'm always happy to have more beautiful bookmarks that make me happy to use when I'm reading. So all great ideas. I think somebody had asked, I've lost the thread now, but somebody asked, could we show how to set up shipping again? Sure, let me demo that. All right, so here you are in the behind the scenes. I'll just walk through the whole section. So if you go to e-commerce orders, you can see the orders that you've made, which are still to be unfulfilled. And if you see in the upper right corner, you can export them. So if you want to have that at your desktop to get to work and take with you to the post office or put on your to-do list or keep for your records, etc., you can export it. For payouts, this is where you set up your payouts with Stripe. And you can always click into your Stripe payout dashboard to, see what your payment schedule is looking like. Here it is. Your first payout will take 7 to 14 days after your first sale. Stripe needs to complete a one-time review. And then finally, to your question, you can change the shipping rate here. We are looking at expanding the flexibility of this, but again, we wanted to get quickly to market with this product. And so we have one flat rate at this time. So if you want to experiment with that, you want to put something out and you can change it at any time, but we don't have this dynamic at the book level yet. So that's in e-commerce under shipping. And again, I'll demo selling direct, print book. I ship myself. And you fill out your information here.
Is it available not to sell just books? How about your own merchandise that you have?
That is such a good question. We've had a lot of people asking about being able to sell merch. The issue at this stage is that we don't have the product page configured right now for non-books. So, you could, I know where your mind is probably going is, can I make a custom page and have my merch on there and link a buy button? Not at this time. That is something that we want to develop that is not a hack or not a quick fix or workaround. We want to actually think it through carefully and make sure that if somebody's going to sell merchandise, that it's done in a professional and elegant way. So we don't have capability yet.
Yeah, I just had a quick question, and maybe somebody else could answer that. I am just curious what kind of way people can go about, because when you ship something, you're going to have a return label. So I'm just curious what other people are thinking to do in regards to keeping your address more private, just kind of on a safety measure, not having people, maybe I'm just paranoid, but not having people looking up your address on Google or somebody that's local that might come and, I don't know, stalk you or something like that. So I'm just curious what other people might be doing.
P.O. Box.
Okay.
They cost you like $30, depending on where you get it from.
I use a
safe.
postal address in my case
Yep.
so that it's a box. Nobody can get to my house.
Correct.
Just easily
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I don't think you're paranoid. That's the world we live in. I think it's a good idea.
Yep.
Joanne asked, she missed the beginning. Is there an upgrade charge for this service? It's no upgrade on top of what is already included in the Pro subscription. So it's just another capability in Pro. Other questions, thoughts, reactions? Does anybody think they're going to try this? And if so, what are you going to try it with? What type of book are you going to sell? Would love to hear your actual, where your minds are going with this.
I'm going to start with signed copies here.
Signed copies. Great.
Same for me.
Same for me, signed copies. Can someone tell me how you do special editions?
I'm just going to be bold and go full on, close out my e-commerce, and just move all my books over. I mean, I keep a good stack here at home, and I have all the capabilities of weighing and shipping from my house. So I've been doing that through the e-commerce outside of the website. So now it's nice not to have it outside of the e-commerce.
Is that you, Amber? Is that your voice who I recognize?
Yes, it's me.
Thank you. That is really exciting. I'm really glad to hear it. We're here on call if you encounter any issues, questions, things that you really think that we should upgrade. We're definitely like just so pleased that you're going to be able to do that on your Tertulia site, and we want your feedback. So
Oh, yes. And,
do be in touch.
I will definitely be in touch. And, we've got to be cutting edge. We've got to be that next step. We're talking about the QR codes. I'm personally using now the NFC tags, which is you don't even have to open your camera. You actually just tap your phone and you have my website. It's that quick. And that is so easy to use now, and they're so inexpensive now. And I just came back from a book signing in North Carolina, and it was a big hit.
Congrats. I love it.
I'll have to look at that. Now I'm going to shift everything over. I'll start out with just my regular stock. I do signed events, so I already have some inventory here. And I'll shift, and then I'll think about special editions, things like that. I'm very excited that you have this.
Fantastic. I'm so glad to hear it. That's great. If you want to sell a special edition, let me share my screen and I'll make a suggestion on how this could be done. Thank you, Ilea. So if you go to the books section, let's say, can everybody see my screen?
Yep.
Great. So let's say that Carry On is here and I'm selling it through Amazon and other retailers. And I decided that I'm going to print Carry On with sprayed edges. I'm going to add a product, do it manually this time around, and I'm going to call it Special Edition, Carry On. We'll just call it sprayed edges. Not great marketing. And then we're going to go ahead and hit Save Changes. And you've now made a new product on your site. And I didn't upload a picture, but here it is. And what you could do is go ahead to your books section to Carry On with Sprayed Edges and upload the print special edition for sale. We're going to make it $25 and we're going to call it Exclusive Edition Sprayed Edges. So you have the option to either add the print book for sale under an existing product that you're selling, an existing book in your books showcase, or setting up a new book in your books showcase that would be a special edition. I hope that's clear.
Is there a way of putting all your special editions in a special edition section? Does that make sense?
It's a good question. I think you'd probably use the series functionality for that. So you could call it special editions. And just for purposes of demonstration, we'll see how that looks. It's a good question. For those of you that are really active with special editions, I could see where you would want to group them together. And we'll go to books, special editions. Yeah, so that's how you would do it. Not bad, actually. It's pretty good. I hadn't thought about that. Thank you for that good question. Is selling print books fulfilled by the author directly from your website available in the basic and the pro plan? No, it is only available in the pro plan. Another person asks, how can I participate in this new feature? Anybody is eligible to participate in this new feature if they have pro, with the caveat that we are working as fast as we can on the rollout of international for that. So it's US-based sales at this time. Important other detail to that. Right now, we don't have an international shipping option for the purchaser. So anybody who's an author based in the US setting up their Stripe account can sell, and they can sell domestically. Within the next few days, we will be rolling out international sales. So you can have additional address fields for international shipping and set your international shipping as well. One person asked, Robert, if you're on the call, how much will it cost me to have two Tertulia websites for two different genres? Can you help? Absolutely. Angie had thrown into the chat here the pricing, but each website is the same. We do not have a bulk pricing for a second website. So you're just paying two different subscriptions. And at this stage, you just need to set your second website up with a different email address so that the accounts are distinct. Kenneth, if he's on the call, is asking about email sign up and Reader Magnet. It was working until a MailerLite tech support helped me remove a TXT record from my DNS settings that was blocking my site from being authenticated. How can I get Tertulia and MailerLite to work together? Ilea, I don't know if you want to take this one. I think this is an offline situation, but it's basically we have hundreds of authors that are using MailerLite to sync their mailing lists. Do you have any words of wisdom or any reassurance when things like this happen? What would be your main words of advice?
Sorry, what was the issue? They can't sync them or they.
The issue was that MailerLite tech support helped them remove a TXT record from their DNS settings that was blocking the site domain from being authenticated on MailerLite. How can I get MailerLite and Tertulia work together?
Oh, yes. I think one thing people don't know is that they can go into their settings in their website builder, click domains, and click manage DNS. And that's where all your records live. And you can add the records that MailerLite gives you. And normally when people email me asking to help, I just go in and add those records for them. So either way is fine, but you do have the capability to do it on your own, especially if it's our off hours.
Thank you. And for everybody, if you go to settings, then go to domains.
If we went to settings, domains, you'll see this button, manage DNS settings. So you have access to MX records, that's for mail. CNAME records, that's a variety of things. Everybody's going to have this one CNAME record in there because that allows for somebody to type www dot your domain and it to still show up as this domain here without the www. So you'll probably see this one if you go in there. And then you can also add TXT records, which helps with your email, Google verification, Pinterest, Facebook verification, a bunch of different things. But if you ever needed help with it, you could email us and I would just go in and add the records you give me here. But it's super simple. You click add, you put in the information you're given for each of these, and then you click save changes. And that's it.
I knew I could count on you. Thank you. Blog posts and pages, specifically, how much flexibility is there in where they are posted and what they look like? I can do a really quick demo of that. I think it's probably something that might take a little bit more time to explore offline, but just for demonstration. Some people have asked, can I rename my blog like Linda's Corner, Linda's Friday Note, whatever? No, not yet. It is something that we're considering. It's in competition with a lot of other features. So you go to blog, and this is the format: picture, headline, short preview on the listing page with the date. And when you click through, you can include, show you in content, blog. You can include a video. So you put in a YouTube link there. As you can see, these icons here are for photographs and videos, and you can include multiple ones. And then you can have a different thumbnail image that you load at the top where it says post cover. So that's optional. You don't need a picture, though highly recommended. Now, that's the blog post itself. You can have text, you can have pictures, you can have video, and you can have multiple videos. You can link off to PDFs that you host somewhere else that you want somebody to download. You can link off to your book pages, to your Substack for a longer, live conversation you did. So it's fairly flexible. And to the other side of the question, I want to underscore design page settings is your friend. The top of the design section is your site-wide system, design system, your colors, your fonts. The bottom section, page settings, is where you get granular. So it's every single page on your site's little control center. Okay, so for blog, for instance, maybe you want your blog to be higher on your homepage because you just launched it and you want to drag it up there. And now you'll see it's dragged up. Maybe you don't have a book yet and you're still getting ready to publish. You want it at the very top. I don't know. Probably not. Probably want your bio at the top then. You want to put your author photo back on your homepage. You activate it so it's an active section and you can move it up above your blog. That would be a nice touch. Your bio and then your blog. So you have flexibility on where it appears on your homepage, if it appears in your main navigation, and then on the blog itself, what you want to include. I hope that answers the question more or less. But let me take a look in the chat and see if people have further questions about it. To remove a blog, click the downward arrow from a specific post, and there you'll see delete. Yes, you can delete or deactivate posts. Absolutely. Thank you, Angie. Charlie asks, will Tertulia site deal with a big spike of traffic suddenly? Does it use shared hosting? Yes, so we will. And in fact, in the world we live in today, our main Tertulia author site in our bookstore does sometimes get extreme spikes in traffic, including with bots and things like that. So we are constantly, our team is just world class, and they are constantly working on how to defend against those issues, to keep site time up, speed up, etc. So it really has not been an issue. I can count on one hand the times that we've had downtime in the time that Tertulia for Authors has been around, but always report it. If you suspect that there's an issue, report it right away. Go to Authors at Tertulia or go into the chatbot, put in the subject heading, site slow or, not loading, and we're on it. I hope that answers the question. Very, very committed to security and just, double click on that topic. We did have somebody report that they were the victim of a scam. I know all of you are probably at this point pretty familiar with scams, but the scammers who are celebrity book clubs, media, NPR wants to feature you. They're going to ask you for your money. And we put out a warning on our Facebook community group about how to think about these types of solicitations when you get them and how to defend yourself against them. On our side, we are working constantly also. We have like a low grade work stream on just like dealing with that issue with contact forms. It affects the entire internet, not just us. So there's like only so much that we can do, but I think we've made some strides in repelling bots. If you test your contact form and you put a one-word thing like testing in your contact form, it will not be delivered because that is associated with bot behavior. So if you test your contact form, put in 2 sentences or some more substantial content to test it. It should be working fine. Reach out to us if there's any issues. Jennifer asks, signed up for the basic plan. I'd like to change the opt-in offer from sign up to get a free chapter. Absolutely. That is something I wish was more clear to people how to change. You can always change your newsletter sign up language. You go to email content, email sign up, edit form texts. And then you can change both the headline and the text. This is something you want to do once you set up your reader magnet. Okay, one more question from Muzo Winkosi.
Yeah, I just wanted to check in terms of the signing in method. Is there no other way of setting up a proper two-factor authentication as opposed to sending the link? Because let's suppose my emails get hacked. If someone sends that email, they can easily override and I'm locked out. I
Ah,
recently had that experience. In fact, Leah was interacting with my ISP in my country of origin. Thanks.
I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, it's a good question. I sat here with all y'all about a month ago and announced that we are in fact developing username and login for access to the editor. We are still working on it. We want to get it right, so that is coming soon. So thank you for your patience. Okay, I
Okay,
think that
great.
we are
Thanks.
already past the top of our office hour. Thank you so much for all of the helpful information. Excellent questions. I'm having lots of ideas spark about things that we should develop, priorities that we need to focus on, including this knowledge base for all the people that can't be here on this call to refer to. And keep the questions and feedback coming. And we cannot wait to hear from you when you sell your first print book on your Tertulia site. So I expect to get a personal note. You can always find me at linda@tertulia.com and all of us at authors@tertulia.com. Have a fantastic, productive weekend of writing and reading, and hope to see you next week. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.